What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, back with episode 212 of Room Tour Project, the series where we show off some of the best setups to give you some ideas and inspirations for your own setup. If you see anything you like, I'll have it all listed for you in the description down below so you can check it out. But we'll kick it off now, episode 212. Alright, first up we have StationsandTendos for PlayStation and Nintendos. As you can see by the theme here, tons of retro, throwback, classics. I am loving the overall theme and just the style to this room. It really gives you that nostalgic feel, especially with all those cartridges and stuff. Definitely adds to the room and the setup overall. So for his primary desk setup here, he has two displays. The primary white one is the Zowie Divina series, that is a 25-inch, and the vertical one on the left side is a 24-inch Acer Predator display at 144 Hz. For his peripherals, he's got kind of two keyboards on display here, as you can see. The red one underneath his primary monitor is the Ducky Year the Pig keyboard, with the Mass Drop Alt as his main. And for his mouse, it's the Pwnage Ultra Custom, a nice wireless lightweight mouse in white. Speaking of white, that seems to be the color theme going on, although white's not really a color, but you get what I'm saying, because the PC has some really nice white accents, and I just love the way it all came together. So inside here, this is the NZXT H500 case. He's got a Ryzen 7 3700X with a Deepcool GAMAX 400 cooler, 32 gigs of Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM on an MSI B350 Tomahawk motherboard with the EVGA GTX 1080 Ti graphics card, white LED fans, white braided cables, all looking good. And like I said before, tons of the throwback consoles. You can see his collection here, and obviously everything he has kind of behind it on the display shelves as well. Even that Xbox like arcade display console they would have in like GameStop or EB Games back in the day, if you remember that. The point is, this is a killer gaming room, and it all just comes together beautifully. Really good stuff, man. This is a dedication to the hobby. You love to see it. Now we've got Tony J. Hey, Tony J. And this setup's rolling with two ultra-wides, something you don't really see too often. You rarely see two ultra-wides side by side. But if you got the desk space, you could obviously utilize it, all the extra real estate for those pixels. It's free real estate. And as you can see, lots of RGB going on that he could mix and match. So for each of those displays, his primary one is an Asus 35-inch, with the display on the left side being a 34-inch ultra-wide from Dell, and he's got the whole kind of cyberpunk theme going on in this pick. Now for his peripherals, we have the Corsair K95 Platinum RGB keyboard, and we have a lefty here, because on the left side is the Razer Oribos mouse, and for audio, that's the Sennheiser GSP 500 headset, powered by the Sennheiser GSX 1000 amp and DAC. Definitely a killer combo there. Now, I am loving this hardline custom water-cooled PC, looking really fresh. I don't use that term too often, but I think it's appropriate here. This is the Cooler Master C700P case inside the Intel i7 8700K CPU with 32 gigs of G.Skill Trident Z RGB RAM on an Asus Maximus 10 Hero motherboard with the Asus ROG RTX 2080 Ti graphics card. And obviously with the white cooling and stuff, you can switch up the RGB lights to match everything else. It's just a really clean build. This is something of beauty. So good stuff, Tony J. And I gotta say, I like the dark wall here. It makes everything else really stand out. Even the wooden desk, it looks super nice. I don't know if that's like reclaimed wood or something, but that is also a thing of beauty. And also, I gotta say, shout out to the left-handed gamers. I probably can think of less than 5 ever on this show that we've had. It's not really a big deal, just worth pointing out. Y'all exist. Now we've got Yudho S, and this, oh, I rolled my R's too hard there. I tried to make it sound natural, but it just didn't. But he's rolling with a quadruple monitor setup with a very unorthodox orientation there, plus a massive TV. So we got 5 displays in total here. Let's check this out. So I gotta say, I have just a list of displays. I'm not too sure which is which, but I'm gonna try to name them for you guys. So he has listed an Asus 27-inch model. I assume that's his primary. Then we have an Asus 24-inch, which is probably the overhead. And then also a list of 2 Asus other 24-inch models, which I assume are the vertical ones on each side. I'm feeling pretty good about that prediction, but I gotta say, that spanned wallpaper is looking hella nice. Very, very colorful. For the peripherals, we have the Razer Black Widow Elite. No, that's not the Razer Black Widow. That's a Huntsman. You gave me the wrong specs, man. So he wrote Black Widow Elite, but that's the Huntsman Elite, with the Razer Mamba Elite mouse. Got the massive Elgato Stream Deck XL with the shit hell. That's the amp and DAC. And those headphones peeking off the left side are the Philips SHP 9500. Rolling over into the PC, we have a bit of an older one here. Inside the Corsair Obsidian 750D case is an Intel i7 4790K CPU with 16 gigs of Crucial Ballistics RAM and a Gigabyte GTX 1060 graphics card. And then also, which is also hooked up to his setup, is his laptop, the Dell Inspiron 15. So he's just got a lot of gear, a lot of tech in this setup, not to mention his entire console setup. As you can see here, the Switch, the Xbox, PS4, tons of other headsets here, some VR, hooked up to that nice massive TV. And actually, I stand corrected, that laptop is hooked up to the TV as well, not the rest of the setup. But the point is, he games, and he's got a really nice setup. I'm digging the orientation. I feel like this wouldn't have worked if the wallpaper didn't span as nicely, but since it does, it's just more visually appealing to us and it clicks in our brain. So altogether, good stuff. Now we've got my man, Yudho. And I gotta say, if you're gonna put my logo and my name on a setup, I'm gonna love it. And you did it here. You did some magic, because if you guys take note, look at this setup. The way he has the lines in the wallpaper matches up with the design behind the displays on his wall. This takes time and dedication, and he's a master at this stuff. He calls it his cyber junk setup, but my man, this is anything but junk. He even got a really nice wall-mounted PC. This is what's up. So for those 3 displays mounted on one arm to make it look a lot more clean, they are Samsung 24-inch monitors, all 3 the same model. They are curved as well. And again, just appreciate the work that went into this. This looks so good. For the peripherals, his keyboard is the Logitech G900, that's the mouse, the G900 Chaos Spectrum mouse with the Logitech G810 Orion Spectrum keyboard, matching the RGB lights in the peripherals to green to match everything else. And then also completing the trifecta for audio is the Logitech G633 Artemis Spectrum headset. And before we check out that delicious PC, you gotta take a look at the cable management, because underneath everything is kept up real nice and tidy and organized, which is why when you take a look at his setup from head on and even on the side, you really can't see any cables anywhere. So a great job with cable management, which does lead us over to the PC, because even still, all the cables are routed efficiently, which is not easy to do. Not with all this gear, not with a wall-mounted PC. So the fact you did a super clean job with the build and the mounting is phenomenal. So for this is the Thermaltake Core P1 case. He has a Ryzen 2700X CPU with a Thermaltake Ring Flow 240 RGB AIO with 16 gigs of G-Skill Trident Z RGB RAM on the Asus ROG Strix X470i motherboard with the Asus ROG Strix RTX 2060 graphics card. So I could talk about this for another hour, but it's just a good looking PC, a good looking setup, and I just love all the detail that you put into this. I don't know how long this must have taken you, but the fact you have the wallpaper lined up with your display and the RGB lights and your logo even, it all is a 12 out of 10, and I've only given out 11s before. And then rounding it out, we have Johan. And this is a really clean triple monitor setup, and as you can see, there's not a lot going on the walls. When I first saw the submission, I did feel like it was kind of empty in terms of the space, but he did say he's going to be adding more to it and stuff like that, so I'm happy to see it's always a work in progress. But I mean, when is a setup ever completed? Am I right? So for those 3 displays, they are a 24-inch model from Asus. They're all 144 Hz. And I'm happy to see they're all the exact model, even though he can't really utilize 144 Hz on the outer monitors, because now they all line up perfectly, making it look better in the end. When he's streaming, that light right there is from Viltrox, and you can see his headset mounted off the side of the desk. That is the HyperX Cloud 2. Into the rest of his peripherals, we have the Ducky 1-2 Mini RGB keyboard with the Razer Death Adder Chroma mouse on the HyperX Fury Extra Large mousepad. And then over to the PC, this case is from Fractal. It's the Define Mini. Inside an Intel i5 8600K CPU with a Be Quiet Pure Rock cooler. We got 16 gigs of Crucial Ballistics Sport RAM on an MSI Z370M mortar motherboard with an MSI GTX 1070 Gaming X graphics card. Some RGB light strips inside as well to accentuate whether you wanted to add the whole blue theme going on or here red. Could switch it all up and it all flows. So yeah, good stuff, man. Digging your streaming setup, very clean and organized, and I'm looking forward to seeing possibly a late 2020 or a 2021 rendition of your setup to see the improvements and changes you make. And alright guys, that'll wrap it up for episode 212 of Room Tour Project. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget, if you saw anything you like, I'll have it all listed for you in the description down below, as well as some very simple instructions on how to submit your setup. If you want to be possibly considered beyond a future episode of Room Tour Project, just check the description down below for it all. If you like this episode, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a good day.